A mind that is stirred by new ideas can never go back to its old dimension. And that is a word according to Oliver Wendell Holmes. One unique quality about successful people is that they are committed to a lifelong learning. Now, your learning ability, the size of earning capacity. If you check most of the things that you do today, that it seems you are a master over them, there was a time in your life that you took time to learn them. Now, if you want to increase your earning capacity, the first thing to do is to increase your learning capacity. Because in the principle of wealth creation, we learn to earn. Now, if you want to earn more, you have to learn more. Now, if you learn fast, you will stand out and have unfair advantage over others. Now, the big question is, how do we learn? On how we learn, let's start with input. By input, we simply means watching videos, reading books, attending seminars, following blogs. But there is something wrong with learning when you focus more on input without output. There is something wrong with learning when you focus more. You have so much input without outputting it. That is shallow learning. And the type of learning that is recommended is not shallow learning, but deep learning. You must have had this experience. For some people, after they finish reading a book, you ask them, how is that book? They say, that book, very interesting, very interesting. You ask them, what is your takeout from that book? What can you say? What's your takeout? They say, that book, oh, wow, it's very interesting. You need to read that book. You need to read that book. Now, it becomes only intellectual entertainment when you can read, but you cannot implement and you cannot share. That is why it is recommended that the type of learning that will make you a mastery should be learning that is focused on output. Now, the kind of recommended learning is deep learning and not shallow learning. But how do we do deep learning? According to Nishal Kasi Butler, he said, for a true mastery, your focus should be on output and not on the input. Because when you learn something, two things happen: use it, lose it. It's either you use what you learn or you lose it if you don't use it. That is why there are formula with which you can master anything. And the formula is simply LRIS. LRIS. Now, to go detail into understanding this formula, the L stands for learn. If you want to master anything, the first letter to master it in the formula is L, which stands for learn. Now, it's very important that when you are learning, you should focus and ensure that you have a quality input. That means by paying more attention, by paying 100% attention to what you are doing. What happens often at times is when people are learning, they multitask and as such don't pay proper attention to what they are learning. Take for example, if you're reading or you are watching a video, all of a sudden call comes into your phone and you pick the call and give much attention to that call. What happens is that you will lose a momentum. You have killed the momentum in your learning process. And it will take you time to pick up again, and that is going to affect the quality of your input. It's just like when you are trying to upload a software to your system and all of a sudden light goes off. You see that the quality of your input is never going to be the same like when the light was on until the upload ended. So what happens is, if you want to be a master over that thing, you pay close attention and avoid distraction as much as possible to make sure you have a quality input over what you are doing. And if you can do that, you are already on your way to mastery. Number two on the formula is letter R, which stands for reflect. Now, it's also very important that when you are reading, at a point, you should take some pause and ask yourself, what is the takeout from this? How can I apply this information in my life? How can I apply it in my business? How can I apply it in my family? Because that is the only way reading becomes useful. If you cannot apply what you are learning, there is no use reading. And if you can apply what you learned, you can apply what you are reading, then you are already on your way to mastering that thing that you learn. You are learning something and you are pausing to reflect and understand. You are already on your way to mastery. And number three, on the formula on how to master anything is letter I, which is implement. This is actually where the magic happens, but very many people miss out of it, unfortunately, because they don't pay attention to it. Now, if you're learning a thing, but you don't know how to implement it, you will often at times you see people, they are learning, they get excited, they get inspired, they go on and start learning new things. without implementing the previous knowledge they have acquired, there is no use learning. Now, if you only know how to implement, if you only know how to acquire knowledge, but you don't know how to implement it, what you are going to get is illusion of competence. You will think that you know it, but not knowing that you are not competent over it. So you are only competent when you are able to implement what you have learned. I always give this example. If you are such person that have developed a habit of learning without implementation, you are like that man who wants to build a house, is bringing all the material to the building site. You have brought the sand, bring the chicken, bring the cement, bring the roof, bring the blocks, bring the tiles, but never builds anything. There is no how that building is going to come out standing overnight. So if you are such a person that have developed that habit of learning without implementing, you are like that man that have brought all the building materials to site but never builds anything. And you can never master that thing because you are not implementing. So the best way is to implement even as you're learning. And the last letter on the learning formula is letter S, which is share. There is a saying that says that the best way to learn anything is to teach it. Now, if you cannot teach it, make sure you discuss it and you share it with others. When you share a thing that you learn with others, what you are doing is that you are making your brain to pay more attention to understanding it. I have never seen any person who become a master of a thing by just the input, but I've seen majority who became mastery by outputting what they learn. Now, it is recommended that if you are using wide amount of time for your input, you should as well use too wide amount of time for your outputting. And if you do that, you are already on your way to mastery. These are the formula on how to master anything. Learn, reflect, implement, and share. If you follow this formula, you are already at the top, mastering what you are doing. And until our next video, I'll say bye.